The air in Department 37 of the Los Angeles Superior Court was thick with a nervous anticipation that clung to the polished wooden benches and faded California seal on the wall. Today was the day for Case No. FA 24-9876, Ramirez v. Stevens, and all eyes were on the three individuals seated across from each other, separated by a tense chasm of unanswered questions. On one side sat Maria Ramirez, her face etched with a mix of defiance and exhaustion. Beside her, fidgeting with a worn teddy bear, was 5-year-old Lily, her bright, curious eyes taking in the unfamiliar surroundings. Maria had brought this case, claiming that 27-year-old Mark Stevens was Lily's biological father and, as such, should be held accountable for years of financial and emotional neglect. Mark, impeccably dressed but with a visible tremor in his hands, sat with his attorney. He had consistently denied paternity, maintaining that he had no involvement with Maria beyond a brief, casual acquaintance years ago. He'd only reluctantly agreed to the DNA test, pressured by a court order, convinced it would exonerate him and finally put an end to what he called Maria's fabricated claims. Presiding was Judge Eleanor Vance, a woman known for her no-nonsense demeanor and sharp legal mind. She had overseen countless paternity cases, each a unique blend of human drama and scientific certainty. Today, however, felt different. There was a palpable weight in the room, a history of accusations and denials that transcended the usual courtroom decorum. The bailiff called the case, and the two attorneys approached the bench. Maria's lawyer, a seasoned family law practitioner named Ms. Davies, began by outlining their case. Maria and Mark had a brief relationship in late 2019, around the time Lily would have been conceived. Maria had attempted to inform Mark of her pregnancy, but he had dismissed her, claiming she was crazy and threatening legal action if she pursued him. Mark's attorney, Mr. Jenkins, countered, painting Maria as a woman seeking financial gain, fabricating a connection where none existed. He emphasized Mark's consistent denial and his belief that Maria had been involved with other men during that period. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. Judge Vance nodded to the clerk, who held a sealed envelope. "The court has received the results of the DNA paternity test," she announced, her voice calm and authoritative, cutting through the tension. Maria clutched Lily tighter, her knuckles white. Mark leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the envelope, a flicker of something unreadable, fear? Hope? In their depths. The clerk opened the envelope and handed the document to Judge Vance. The judge's eyes scanned the page, her expression unreadable. A heavy silence descended upon the courtroom, broken only by the rustle of papers and Lily's soft humming. Finally, Judge Vance looked up, her gaze settling first on Mark, then on Maria. "The DNA test results," she began, "indicate with a probability of 99% that Mr. Mark Stevens is the biological father of Lily Ramirez." The words hung in the air, shattering the silence like glass. Maria let out a small, choked sob of relief, burying her face in Lily's hair. Lily, sensing the shift in her mother, looked up, a puzzled frown on her face. Mark, however, went ashen. He slumped back in his chair, the carefully constructed edifice of his denial crumbling around him. His attorney put a hand on his shoulder, a gesture of quiet commiseration. The shock was evident on his face, the realization of years of avoiding responsibility crashing down in an instant. Judge Vance continued, her voice firm. "Given these conclusive results, the court will now proceed with establishing a child support order and a custody schedule. Mr. Stevens, you will be required to provide financial support for Lily, retroactive to the date of this filing. Furthermore, the court will order a comprehensive co-parenting plan to be developed, ensuring that Lily has consistent access to both parents." As the judge detailed the next steps, Mark sat in stunned silence, the weight of the court's decision settling upon him. Maria, still tearful but with a newfound strength in her posture, looked at Lily, a quiet promise in her eyes. The scientific certainty of a DNA test had, in a single moment, untangled years of doubt, denial, and injustice. For Lily, the truth meant a future with a legally recognized father. For Maria, it was the validation she had fought so hard for. And for Mark, it was the undeniable beginning of a responsibility he could no longer escape. The court had spoken, and the DNA had delivered its irrefutable truth.